Hi, everybody. Welcome to our mini class, Summer Survival Skills for Parents. Hi, I'm Adina Soclof from ParentingSimply.com. And I'm really excited to be here today because it is finally summer. If I'm giving a summer survival skills class, that means that it's summer. And I live in Cleveland, Ohio, and the winters are really long here. And I'm just really enjoying this beautiful weather and really looking forward to a beautiful summer. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about how to set yourself up for a successful summer, how to set yourself up for success. We're going to talk about stopping temper tantrums before they start, okay, which is part of setting yourself up for success. And then we're going to talk about how to use the summer to teach life skills. And the life skill that I'd like to talk about today is really emotional regulation, how to help kids maintain calm, how to help them learn how to calm themselves down, right? So emotional regulation is now one of the hottest topics in education. I'm a speech therapist. I spend a lot of time helping kids regulate their emotions, because if you can't regulate your emotions, you can't do anything. You can't learn anything. You can't talk to a child who's not able to regulate their emotions or not able to calm themselves down. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's jump right in. Let's get started, and let's talk about how to set ourselves up for success. Okay, so number one, we want to have a modified schedule, but we still want to have some sort of schedule. So we want to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner around the same time still. We want to, make sure that everybody's getting their baths at the end of the day, or we want to keep some sort of structure, because kids do better with structure and parents do better with structure. And in the summer, there is that lack of structure. I've heard so many parents say, I have a love-hate relationship with summer because I love the lack of structure and I hate the lack of structure. Like, it's very relaxing, but it's also kind of tough. So again, we want to have some sort of schedule in our day, but be more relaxed about it. Like, I don't know, if you don't let your kids eat in their pajamas for breakfast, maybe let them eat in their pajamas for breakfast. If you have a very strict bedtime, you still want to keep a bedtime, but maybe let it be a little bit later, so they could catch those lightning bugs in the evening. Okay, so schedule, again, helps us and helps our children. Okay, another thing just to set yourself up for success is to have like an emergency kit, or just always have your bag ready and waiting to go, like with drinks, water, snacks, hats, sunscreen. I can't believe I forgot to put sunscreen down here. Just so that, the night before, always make sure that it's refilled, maybe drinks you want to put in right before you leave because you want them to be cold. But you just always want to make sure that that's ready. I know we spend a lot of time at the pool. So I always had that pool bag ready. I would come home, throw the towels into the washing machine, and when they came out of the dryer, I would just put them right back in. Now I had this like huge summer pool bag. It was like, could have fit a child in there. So it was that big, but kept everything together, and it worked. Just grabbed it and went. Okay, another thing to help you set yourself up for success is to really think about what your goals are for the summer. And what I mean by this is that I always had these very high expectations for the summer. I always thought that I was going to clean the garage, I was going to paint furniture, I was going to do all the things that I didn't get to do during the year. That never happened. The summer's not the time for you, really, if you have kids at home, not the time for you to get a lot of stuff done. So sometimes if we let go of those expectations or these very lofty goals and become more realistic, you become much happier. Okay, you're setting yourself up for success because you're not setting yourself up for disappointment. So again, get real about what you could do with your children home. All right. Also, it's very important to know what your personality is, okay? And then what your child's personality is. So I think it's really important, though, first to know your own personality, because you're the mother, you set the tone, or father, if we're talking to fathers, you set the tone for your home. And knowing about your personality and knowing what you like and knowing what you could handle will help you set up your day where you are successful. So you need to first look at yourself. Then you need to look at your child's personality and figure out how you can work together. So for example, can you handle a lack of structure, right? Are you somebody who's very rigid? Then you're going to have a hard time with the lack of structure. And I would say then keep more of your routines throughout the summer, right? If you're a very laid back person, then it probably doesn't matter. You love this. You love the summertime. Okay, it's not so bad. Are you an introvert or an extrovert? And I think for the introverts among us, which I am an introvert, make sure that you are building quiet time into your day. You're going to need that. Extroverts, you can't stay home alone with your kids. You need to make sure that you're going out and you have a lot of activities planned. Okay, are you a high energy person, a low energy person? Take that into account. Are you outdoorsies? Do you like a lot of crafts? So you need to take that into consideration. Now, what about your child's personality? Are they an introvert? Like if you're an extrovert and they're an introvert, you're going to have to find ways to compromise. You have to make sure that that child is getting their quiet time. And maybe during their quiet time, you could be on the phone talking to a friend, so you still are able to get that energy, the social interaction that you need. Okay, if you have a kid who's a very high energy kid and you're a low energy person, then maybe you need to go to a park where there is a big gate around it so that you could actually sit down, be able to watch your child while they play, and you get to relax a little bit. Okay, and you might have a very outdoorsy kid and you might not be outdoorsy, or vice versa. Or you might be this very craftsy person and your kid really doesn't like crafts. So you need to sort of figure that out and try to find activities that will work for both of you. But first look at yourself, because I think that's very important as the parent. Okay. So here's some more information on how you can look at your personality. I love this from Julie Morgenstern, Time Management from the Inside Out. Okay, so these are some questions that you could ask yourself to help you understand yourself and understand what you need and what you need. This is really throughout the year, but more specifically during the summer. So like, are you able to concentrate in short bursts or for long stretches? Are you able to focus on one thing at a time or multitask? Do you like a busy, fast-paced schedule or a slow, easy schedule? Do you like predictable plans or spontaneity? Do you work under pressure or long lead times? Make quick decisions or think things over? Do you work independently or collaboratively? Right? I always think about this, like I really need to cook alone. So I would wake up early and do my cooking early when no one was in the kitchen. And that was really important to me. Okay, exercising alone or with others, shopping alone or with others, relaxing alone or with others, working with quiet or noise, working with your head or working with your hands. So again, these are just some questions you could ask yourself to try to figure out your personality, figure out the way you work best, and see if you can make your schedule for the summer based on what you have just figured out about yourself, okay, so that you could set yourself up for success. Okay. Setting yourself up for success. What we need to know is that children need 4 basic things. They need sleep, they need routine, which we just spoke about a little bit. They need food, and they need attention. Okay, I'm sorry. We're moving into the preventing tantrum. We just spoke about setting ourselves up for success. Now we're moving into the preventing tantrums portion of our mini class. So kids are going to tantrum just from lousy local conditions, right? If things are just not going well, if they are not getting these basic 4 things met. right? If kids are not sleeping, then forget about it. If I'm not sleeping, forget about it. But now we're talking about children. If their routine is off, they're going to have trouble. They're going to have meltdowns. If they're hungry, they're going to have meltdowns. And if they're not getting the attention that they need from us, their parents, then it could lead to tantrums as well. So again, we really just spoke about this in setting ourselves up for success, right? About how we need routines, right? And a bedtime. It might be a later bedtime, but a bedtime, right? Food, make sure that you got all those snacks, healthy snacks ready. And attention, hopefully they'll be getting a lot of attention if they're home for the summer. But again, these are the 4 things that you need to know to help prevent tantrums, okay? All right. So what we want to do to prevent tantrums, just in general, we want to make calm a priority in our house. And we spoke about teaching a life skill, which is emotional regulation, maintaining calm. Okay, so just some ways that we could help kids calm down, because they will get riled up, right? We can have a calming jar around, and I took this from preschoolinspirations.com. She has a beautiful website on how to make these calming jars, and I make them with, my kids are older now, don't make calming jars, but I do make these with my students, my little kindergarten students. We always make a calming jar, especially when we're working on emotional regulation, and they love to make these, and they are simple to make. So I will tell you, I am not a craftsy person at all, and it would make me really stressed out to have my kids doing these crafts. And what I figured out for myself, this is just a side point, is that really when we wanted to do crafts with our kids, I would have a crafts box, something that they can really, with some glue in it, with pom-poms, paper, markers, some of those watercolor paints, some very simple things. It would be in a box. I would put newspaper on the table, or I would take the box outside and would just let them do arts and crafts from that. I never planned craft activities. It just was not my thing. So that's really what worked for me. Okay. But this, I'm sorry I didn't know about this when my kids were little, because I think this is something that I would be able to do. So if you want to look online and see how you could do this, it would be great. So again, if you have this calming jar, we're talking about making calm a priority in your home. You want to talk about calm, right? Let's calm down, or let's find a calming activity. This is before kids actually are having that meltdown or that tantrum. Okay, you want to talk about calm as a value, as one of the principles of your home. Okay, so you want to have one of these calming jars around so that they know if they do have a temper tantrum, then this is one way that could help them. Okay, also you want to have a calm area. So we have a great bean bag, and if the kids were upset, then they would, have this quiet area to go to keep themselves calm and to get themselves calm. Or, just if they wanted to go to a quiet area, they would go to a quiet area. But again, if you talk about this calm area, you make calm a priority in your house, you're teaching them emotional regulation. You're teaching them about the concept. Okay, we also, again, we want to let kids know what you see them doing that helps them relax. Okay, so I should say why I'm so crazy about this emotional regulation. Number one, again, it's really important. Kids can't really learn anything unless they're regulated. Their emotions are regulated. But I find that if children know what to do, what helps them relax, so they will be less likely to turn to unhealthy things that help them relax. And this is, if if you have older kids, things like, unfortunately, drugs. Okay, so I do not presume to know the answer of what can help children avoid drugs. I do not presume that. I just can't presume that, but I feel that if you teach kids healthy ways to relax, healthy ways to maintain calm, if you maintain, for the most part, a calm home, you role model calm, children will hopefully less likely turn to drugs later on. They'll have healthy ways to maintain their calm. Okay, so just, you could say then, when you came home from school, I noticed you went to play basketball. That seems to help you relax. It looks like watching a video helps you relax. That cold drink of water seems to really relax you. Taking a bath or shower is relaxing for you. Okay, let them know. And we always, I had one son who in first grade he used to come home so aggravated and so agitated. First grade was so tough for him. And he would just cry and have a temper tantrum. And we would sit with him, and I talk about really what to do when your child has a temper tantrum in my 6-week class, Parenting Simply Foundations class. But we're not going to talk about it here. But he would go, then he would finally calm down, and we put a little basketball hoop, a Nerf ball basketball hoop, in his room, and I saw he would start playing basketball. And that was a way that where he was able to calm down. And when he would come home from school, before the tantrum would start, I would say to him, maybe you want to go play some basketball. I know you need some time to relax when you come home from school. And I noticed that that's something that really helps you relax. Okay, so if we figure out what helps a child relax, we can guide them in that direction gently, because sometimes if a kid is in a bad mood, they'll say, well, I don't want to play basketball. That's so stupid, right? Even though if that's something that they would want to do and that would be relaxing for you, but sometimes they just want to get into a fight with you because they're so aggravated. But gently, we could guide them to those activities that we know help them relax, and that could really prevent tantrums. Okay. Other things that we could do to help prevent tantrums and also to help children learn how to be calm is to role model. Say, I'm really aggravated. I'm going to go to my room to cool off. I just need a little bit of quiet, or I need to calm down. I feel myself getting frustrated and angry. This talking out loud technique, or let's take a few minutes to relax. Okay, talk about what you do to relax. Okay, I'm going to go take a walk. That really relaxes me. Going outside really relaxes me. All those things really actually do relax me. So again, you want to role model what you do to get yourself relaxed. It doesn't mean that might relax your child, but let them know that you're thinking about it too. Okay. And this is also from Julie Morgenstern's book, Time Management from the Inside Out. She really recommends understanding when your energy is low as a parent. And I think, again, this is so important in the summer when everybody's home and, again, the routine is a little bit messed up, really to try to maintain your energy level and understand what you recharge from, okay? So it's like changing activities, exercising, yoga, playing music, journaling, gardening, curling up with a good book, drinking a cold glass of water. Okay, I'm just going to skip over joining a book club, going to or throwing a party, crafts, getting some fresh air. So understand that and make time. Try to make time for yourself to get to do that. Don't let your energy get too low. Okay, you probably want to pick something that you recharge from, that doesn't take so much time, doesn't take so much money, or just pick a couple of those things for the summertime, because it is a little tight. Time is a little bit tight, but again, just having this knowledge about yourself can help you maintain your energy level and help you get through the summer. Okay, all right, that's the same. Okay, now preventing tantrums. We need to know what are our children's triggers. just skip this one. Okay, so we want to make sure to isolate triggers. We want to know what causes our kids to tantrum. And what's nice about children is that it's often the same thing every time. So if we could get really smart about what is triggering their tantrum, we could get better at predicting it, and we could get better at preventing the tantrum. So for example, if a child is a very emotional child, then maybe if somebody's teasing them, or they see other children crying, or they've had like maybe too many disappointments, that could trigger a tantrum. Now, you don't want to fix everything for this type of child, because that's not good for them either. Like, make sure nobody's teasing them and make sure everybody's nice to them. That's not real life. But we can teach them to stand up to themselves, or ways to cheer up other children so they're not overwhelmed by their emotions all the time. And I really talk about this also in my Parenting Simply Foundation class. We're just touching on this. Okay, also sounds can really cause, there's some kids who are very sensitive to sound, and that could cause temper tantrum, okay? Like tapping, noise, crowds, loud music, sirens. Okay, my kids hated crowds, they hated loud music, they had loud noise. We really had to be careful choosing activities for our children that involved any of those things. And it was fine, because I also don't like crowds or noise or loud music. So my husband was a little bit bored, but what can we do? But we also want to teach them how to, if we see that we're in a place that has loud noise or crowds, we want to give kids the tools that they need to prevent them from having a tantrum. You know, sometimes it helps cover your ears when you hear a loud noise. Sometimes it helps to leave the room when the crowd gets to be too much. Give them skills, give them coping strategies. And those are also coping strategies for you. Help them by covering their ears. Okay, emotions, sometimes sight. If a kid is watching too much, if they're on their iPad, too much screen time can really cause tantrums. I know it's very, we're all struggling to limit screen time. It is so difficult. But even poor lighting could upset some kids. Extra bright lighting for sure could upset some kids. All right, so we want to make sure that we're turning off that iPad. We want to make sure we're getting them outside a little bit. And we could say things like too much time on the iPad can really hurt your eyes, things like that. Let them know in a gentle way. We don't have to yell at them. They're just learning. I mean, we're also so addicted to our screens as well, adults, so it's kind of hard to really reprimand our children, but let them know that it's not good for them. All right. Also taste. Sometimes taste, like different foods, can really upset kids. I should say that all this really is from Mary Sheedy Kernchika's book, Raising a Spirited Child, which is a fantastic book. Okay, so we can have them pick their own food and serve it. And I think that the summertime is kind of a good time for kids to be able to do that, you know, loosen up a little bit in the kitchen. I'm saying that to myself as well, because that's something that's very hard for me to do. But, you know, let them play around a little bit in the kitchen and taste different foods. Okay, so some other things that can cause tantrums is touch, seams and socks. I had a child who could not stand seams and socks, my son, and I bought him socks from the girls section, which he didn't know about until just recently. He's much older now. He's 20. He's like, what? You bought me girls socks? I'm like, yeah, they didn't have seams and you were more comfortable. I'm like, no one knew, don't worry. All right, tags and clothing, playing in the sand, wool. I guess it's summer, so hopefully you're not putting wool on your children, but once in a while you have a child who will only wear that sweater that they wore the whole entire year, and they won't give it up even in the summer, and it could be wool. Okay, finger painting, they might not like that. Okay, so we just teach them to even just let you know that things are bothering them. You know, when we could say when tags on your shirt bother you, it could be worn inside out, or you could play with the water table or the sandbox. You know, let them choose what it is that they want to do. Also help them understand that there are things that bother them when they touch them. Let them understand themselves and get them involved in preventing tantrums. If they could come to you and say, I don't like the way the stand feels, that's a big deal, right? Then they know what bothers them. And both of you could prevent that tantrum that might be coming up from things that involve touch. Okay, so again, to prevent tantrums, again, you want to isolate triggers. We want to figure out what causes tantrums in kids. And I don't know if I said this before, but I did say this before, but preventing, again, you also want to just go back to those 4 basic things. Sleep. Okay, if the kid's didn't sleep enough, then they more likely to have a tantrum. Routine, if they're off their routine, more likely to have a tantrum. If they're hungry, more likely to have a tantrum. And if they're not getting the attention that they need, they're more likely to have a tantrum. And then all these other things, touch, emotion, sounds, loud sounds, these can also trigger tantrums. Okay, so if we know this about our children, we're able to isolate those triggers, we'll be a lot better off. We'll have a lot better summer. Okay. So another thing that could help prevent tantrums, and I talk about this a lot more in my Parenting Simply Foundations class, is really letting children know what to expect, okay? So when we go to the park, let them know how long they're going to be staying there. Now, many kids, of course, don't understand time. This is a good opportunity to teach them about time, which is another life skill, okay? And you could, what I did to teach kids time, I would say, let's say we had a half hour. A half hour is as long as Arthur was we watched a lot of Arthur. I said, it's one Arthur episode is a half hour, just to sort of give them a more concrete way to look at time. So there's other great ways to teach kids about time, which I'm not going to go into right now, but that's also a good thing to do over the summer. But again, let them know, I will let you know when we have 10 minutes left and then 5 minutes left, and at 3 p.m. everyone needs to be ready to go. Or you can each pick one snack when we're in the supermarket. Again, let them know what to expect. This is so important because if you take them to the supermarket and you let them have one snack, things will be a lot calmer. Okay, we will spend 15 minutes in the museum store and you may have $5 to spend there. You'll need to sit at the table for 5 minutes and then you could go play with your friends. And this can go a long way in preventing tantrums. Okay, also empathy. Okay, so your kid is getting upset because they have to leave the park. To prevent tantrums, you want to really respond to them with empathy. You know, sounds like you're sad about leaving. You wish you could stay. It's 3 o'clock and it's time for us to go home. I'm sorry, you could, empathy really plus the rule. Okay, so sounds like you're sad about leaving. You wish you could stay. It's 3 o'clock and it's time for us to go home. That's the second sentence is the rule. Okay, but we want to give a little empathy before. It can prevent a tantrum, doesn't always, but it can prevent a tantrum. Okay, and empathy really shows our kids that we understand how they feel. We let them know that sometimes rules are hard to follow, but you have confidence in them that they can comply, and it helps in avoiding power struggles and ultimately that public meltdown. Don't want, those are really unpleasant. And I talk about empathy in my Parenting Simply Foundations class for 2 classes about it because it's such an important skill for parents to have. Okay, and again, it really helps prevent tantrums. Finally, the best way for you to prevent a tantrum is to get a babysitter. Leave the children at home with a babysitter. Go to the supermarket yourself. Go run your errands by yourself. Look at this wonderful the picture of this wonderful babysitter here. Look at her. She could cook and she could clean and she could carry babies. So that is what I really recommend. I think during the summertime, you should try to treat yourself to a babysitter. Okay. So I guess the last thing we want to talk about is really have fun. Just have fun this summer. Summer is the best It's the most funnest time of the year, according to me. I love the summer. So make sure to just have fun with your kids. Try to be laid back with your kids. Try to roll with the punches with your kids, and really do what it is that you need to do to really connect with your kids. So that is basically it. That is my summer survival skills class. And here are some references. And for more information, you definitely want to check out parentingsimply.com. We have lots of different classes there. And if anybody needs continuing education credits, many of our classes have, you're able to receive continuing education credits for mental health professionals, for speech pathologists, occupational therapists, physical therapists. So you definitely want to check us out there. Have a fantastic summer.